Buenos días, mi gente de Rochester, y bienvenido a su hora informativa. Mi nombre es Ida Pérez y para mí es un verdadero placer poder estar con ustedes en esta mañana. Su hora informativa es un programa que les trae información importante que esperamos que los inspire a una mejor calidad de vida para usted y su familia. Cubrimos información sobre los campos de salud, empleo, vivienda y muchos otros temas más que nos afectan como persona y como pueblo. Su hora informativa está aquí todos los sábados de 10 a 11 de la mañana y nos alegramos muchísimo de que estén aquí con nosotros en el día de hoy. I was just saying that I'm really happy that people are listening to us this morning, and I'm really happy to be here, and I have a special guest. And I'm going to ask her to introduce herself, to tell us where you're originally from and how long have you been here in Rochester.
Absolutely. My name is Maisha Beer Johnson, and I was born and raised
Oh,
in the
okay.
great city of
Okay,
Rochester,
awesome.
1972.
Okay.
Yes.
And how did your family get here to Rochester?
Oh my goodness. So my maternal grandparents, my maternal side of the family, they are one of the oldest families in Rochester. They are the
Okay.
Moore family. And my great-great-grandfather, J.W. Thompson, who is one of the most notable citizens of Rochester, he is responsible for the first erection of the Frederick Douglass
Oh,
Monument that
nice.
first sat in the Mount Hope Cemetery and is
Okay.
now in the Highland
Nice,
area.
nice.
And then my paternal side of the family reigned from Mississippi and came up north to make a better life for my father and his siblings. And one of the wonderful things about that is that my grandfather couldn't read or write, but he was one of the best plumbers in the city
How about
and
that?
taught many.
Wow, that's
Yes.
really cool.
Yes.
So I always like to ask that questions because, people often complain about Rochester. People are always saying, I can't wait to get out of here. But then there's other people, right, that either come here or were born here that, this is their home. This is where they've remained and this is where they've, left their legacy and history, right? And so it sounds like your family has a great one. So thank you for sharing that with us. Did you want to add something else?
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for asking. And I just want to add that I've been places. I've lived in Atlanta for a couple of years.
Yeah.
I've lived in California for a couple of years, and I've always come back home.
Rochester is home.
I'm
Yeah.
invested in home, and I
Yeah.
love it here.
Oh, I love hearing that. I love hearing that because, it's people like your family, right, and yourself that make Rochester a great place to live in. And again, leaving that legacy and that history here. That's pretty cool. I love that. And I love the way when you say it, like you close your eyes, like you could feel that warmth, right? My home.
Home.
And that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. We're going to be talking today about a program that the city has partnered with another company, right, or another type of program. So tell us a little bit about that. What are we going to be talking about?
Okay, so we are going to be talking about Kiva Rochester.
Kiva Rochester.
Kiva Rochester. And I'm so grateful that Mayor Evans chose to keep Kiva on so that we can help entrepreneurs who may not have the best credit, but are working on growing their credit and need access to resources, funding, so they can start, grow, and expand their businesses. And that's what Kiva is all about. Kiva is here to help.
Okay. Now, where is Kiva located? Like it's a program, right? It's a type of program that people can access to. But where are they located?
So I am the Kiva Capital Access Manager.
Okay. So they're here.
Yes. So thanks to Mayor Malik D. Evans, I am the Kiva Capital Access Manager and the Coordinator of Business and Asset Development for the great city of Rochester. And I am housed within our neighborhood and business development offices. And so what people can do is have a person, a real person, to talk to in the strictest of confidence about their entrepreneurial endeavors.
Yeah.
If they have a credit of 501, I'll give you a little story. Someone called me with that credit score and said, no one's going to give me anything. And I said, don't give up. Don't give up. Now, not only did she qualified for a $10,000 Kiva loan.
Mm.
She has not been late on a payment yet.
Wow.
So the caveat is this. Kiva looks at character and social capital.
Mm-hmm.
Social capital meaning, do people believe in you? Are you on social media?
Yeah.
Do you have a following?
Yeah.
Do people trust you?
I was looking at it, and it actually says relationship they have with the community. And I thought that was
Yes.
really, really interesting.
Yes.
So tell us a little more,
Yes.
besides what you've already mentioned, tell us a little more about
Yes.
that.
So what it really comes down to is credit is not the main squeeze.
Mm-hmm.
It's maybe a few notches down.
Mm-hmm.
But the community relationship
Mm.
is what they look for most. So getting back to that one borrower, she has a robust social media following on Facebook, on X, on LinkedIn,
Mm-hmm.
on what's the name of the ones, the younger people?
TikTok.
I'm still trying to figure that out. On TikTok. And so what that says,
how many people looked at her reels,
exactly.
right?
And not only that, she's visible in the community.
Gotcha.
Visible in the community.
Mm-hmm.
And so as the Kiva Capital Access Manager, I am the go-between between the client and the underwriters.
Okay.
So you have the client,
Mm-hmm.
you have me, and then you have Kiva US, which is in San Francisco, where the underwriters are. I get to say to them, this individual has a robust relationship with the community. They are going to provide jobs. They are going to lift as they climb.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
And if they're selling something, they're going to have customers.
They're going to have customers.
Yeah.
And so that's the beauty of it. And this is the part I love most. This is the part I love most. When you sign up for a Kiva loan, I will immediately refer you to the city's Financial Empowerment Center, where we have the #1 financial empowerment center in the nation.
Oh, wow.
And
look at
one
that.
of the Financial Empowerment Center's financial counselors is the top counselor in the nation.
Wow, look at that.
And so
top notch.
Top notch. Top notch. And this is all free. And so as an entrepreneur signs up for Kiva, fills out the application, and I walk them through it, and they have an opportunity to lift their credit up, I will send them to the FEC, strictly confidential. They can help them separate their personal finances from their business finances, because we want to set our people up for prosperity and success.
Yeah. Cool.
Yes.
Is this the only place that does this? Like where the relationship of the applicant, there has to be some relationship with the community? Because I've never heard that before.
Yes. And so when we talk about relationship with the community, that's why the best results come, the borrowers the applicants that achieve the best results have a robust social media following. Because that way Kiva US can go and look and see what type of person they are. What are they saying?
Yeah.
What are they doing?
Yeah.
Are people engaging with them? That's the credit.
Mm.
That's the social credit and capital that Kiva looks for.
Huh.
That's the character.
Yeah, the character.
That's the character.
You know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of Habitat for Humanity.
Yes.
Where the person that's applying for the home has to go out and do some work, right? Either some community work, do some volunteering, obviously help with the building of the house, right? And so the more you demonstrate that, the more possibilities that you're going to be a good homeowner, right? Because you're really invested in that. So that kind of reminds me of that.
Yes, I love that. You are absolutely right about that. That is so good. And also a lot of the things that people want to know, okay, but how do I get this money? How do I get this funds? So if you think about a GoFundMe, right? GoFundMe, that's a crowd funded.
Right.
So the difference is GoFundMe is a gift. Kiva is a loan.
Yeah.
A loan of your peers. You get to promote yourself on social media. And people get to say they believe in you by lending you $25 that they will get paid back every time you pay back your Kiva loan.
So it's different people donating or not donating, but lending,
yes,
up to $25, into this big fund.
Yes.
And then people that want to, pursue their businesses can tap into that fund.
Can tap into it.
That is really interesting.
It is, isn't it interesting?
It is.
So now, but the $25 lending comes with each individual.
Right.
Okay. So I'm gonna give you a timeline. So a person will apply. And then I'll call them and we'll do a Kiva review. I'll make sure that all of their confidential. I'll make sure all of their information is correct, that they get their FICO score from either Experian or their bank, that they have all of the right information for their personal finances and their business finances. I also help them with their business story and their loan story to make sure that they're telling their story to the best of their ability. I'm here to help with that, right? And then once that application is in the best position possible, I'll send it to the Big Kiva US. Okay. If the Big Kiva US has any questions about the individual, I am the go-between. Okay. I make sure that I answer those questions. Then the applicant gets approved. Now, there are 2 steps, and this is the fun part. They got approved. They have what you call a private funding time, right? It is where if Kiva wants to lend you $10,000, Kiva will say, okay, Maisha, we want you to have 15 people lend you $25. Here is a template. Here is what you can say to
people that they know.
Yes, people that they know.
Okay.
Here's a template. If grandma doesn't know what this is, here's how you talk to grandma. Okay. And these are all people that you know. And the best part of it is that I'll make sure that make a list of people who trust you and believes in you and has no problem in lending you $25 while your application is being processed. Right? Then with their PayPal accounts, their people will lend to them. Now, Kiva wants to see the number of people that will lend you $25, not how much money they will lend you. Some people will say, well, grandma wants to lend me $100, but then that's only one person.
Yeah. Gotcha.
So the caveat.
The more people, the more better.
That's. Yes.
So grandma better give cousin and auntie and godmother the $25.
Yes. You nailed it. You nailed it. And never.
She could still give the $100. Just not individually.
Exactly. And then never, ever, ever give to your own loan. Never, ever, ever. Okay. So now you got the 15 people. Kiva US will say, congratulations, Maisha. Now you're headed to public fundraising. And Kiva puts you on a national platform where banks and philanthropic organizations and companies want to lend to you. And they do.
Wow.
And they do. And I have a great story. One of our Kiva borrowers, she owns a car dealership. She is a woman. She owns Char Dreams car dealerships. She's a Kiva borrower. And I can talk about this because it is public. Okay, I just want to make sure.
Right. They're not in the process yet.
They're not in the process. This is national. They've succeeded, okay? Because her business was on the Kiva platform, she got a phone call. And she sold 2 cars because they saw her business on the big Kiva platform.
Look at that.
Yes.
That's like a really cool, who came up with this concept? Like, this is a really cool concept.
Isn't it amazing? I am going to have to get back to you with the CEO of Kiva.
Okay, like who came up with this idea?
I will get back to you with the
it's
name.
Very innovative, very creative.
Yes, their name escapes me, but I will get back to you.
You know what I like about the family lending the money because my daughter was a Habitat Humanity house, and we all helped, right? We all did our part, whether it was volunteering somewhere that they had an event or whatever. And we felt like part of her home ownership, right? And so I'm thinking that the same thing may be happening with these folks. Now you're also investing in this business, right? At a very small amount, but still very helpful, right? And it's part of the process. And so you, as a family or friends, right, that are supporting you, they're also going to support you when your business is up and running, right? Telling their friends, hey, she sells the best cakes, or she does whatever it is, right? Make sure you check her out, that kind of thing. So it's almost like your own little cheerleading squad behind you, helping you with this business is really cool.
Absolutely. And oh my
it's
goodness,
a family affair, right?
It is family and community. And here's another amazing part of this story. Every time a person pays on their loan, the lender will get an email saying that you have such and such amount that's been repaid on your loan.
Wow.
Like, we get to know how our person is doing with our loans, right? And that's just so wonderful. And at the same time, the entrepreneur can opt into credit reporting. Every time they pay their loan on time, it reports to the credit bureaus. They are lifting their business credit. Kiva is here to help. Kiva is here to uplift.
I'm also thinking about, because I've known a few people that have owned businesses, and something has happened, that were trying to start their business, right? Or maybe they were halfway there, whatever. Divorce happened, or a tragedy happened, right? Maybe somebody died or whatever. Maybe your house caught on fire. I don't know. Any of those things, right, that can really set a person back. And even though they're a good person, they're a responsible person, life happens. Right? And so your credit goes down. I'm thinking about my own self when, my ex-husband and I, we owned a house, and then we got divorced, and I ended up with the house, and, it was really hard for me to maintain. And, and then my credit went down the drain, right? It wasn't anything that I intentionally did, and it wasn't that I wasn't a responsible person. It was just the circumstances, right, that put me in a really hard position. And I remember it took me a very long time to recover from that and to be able to bring up my credit to the point where I could get loans. I remember I had the same car for like 15 years because I couldn't buy a car because my credit wasn't that great, and I had student loans and, all these things that happen, right? And so, I can imagine that there's people like that, right? That have a great idea for a business, that want to start their business, but life happens. And then they end up getting a setback financially. And, like this person said, hey, nobody's going to lend me any money with this credit score. But here is this, company working together with the city to help people like that.
And it's a nonprofit organization.
Yeah, and I can see why the community is a big part of the decision making of you getting this loan, because people may come and say, no, she is a responsible person. She is a good person. She would be great at this business, but, life hit her hard. And she's trying to recover from, and I keep saying she, but, it could be anyone, he, she, whoever, can just, life just happens.
And, here is where the Kiva Capital Access Manager, here's where I come in. Like you said, life happens, right? There was a borrower who actually took out a Kiva loan but couldn't pay it back. Why? Because of breast cancer. That is
Which is
not
devastating.
Her fault.
Right, yeah.
That was not her fault. Okay. And so she ended up paying her Kiva loan back several years later, and she wanted to borrow again. And so where I come in is I get to say and advocate to Kiva US, hey, this particular borrower is an amazing person. She had breast cancer. Thank goodness she is now recovered. And now she wants to continue her business. Can we give her a second chance? Yes. Yes, we can. And that is the same person who's never been late on their loan. Right?
Yeah.
One has nothing to do with the other. And the beauty is that with the City of Rochester, the one thing that Mayor Malik Evans always talks about is partnership and being able to work
Yeah.
together,
Yeah.
which is why we partner with banks, we
Mhm.
partner with CDFIs,
Mhm.
we partner with those entities that could be the next step for
Mhm.
a Kiva borrower.
Yeah.
They may not be able to go to a traditional lending place now, but eventually they can. And Kiva is step one.
Wow. Yeah. I want to go back to something that you said, because you said you helped them write their story.
Yes,
And so is that like an anecdotal? Is it like, is it a true writing, or is it numbers? Like, what does that look like?
it is a true writing. So
Mhm.
Kiva wants to know your heart.
Mm.
You
Mm.
see,
Mhm.
Kiva wants to know what you've been through.
Mm.
So, for example, if I, even though I can't apply for Kiva
Mhm.
because I'm the CAM,
Right, right.
if I were
Mhm.
to apply for Kiva,
Mhm.
I would say I am starting my business because after my mother passed away, I knew that the best way to honor her would
Mhm.
be to use my voice to
Mm.
help others.
Mhm. Mm.
You
Mhm.
know, and I
Mhm.
would elaborate on that. They want to know you. And so when lenders read that, they want to be able to
You want to move their
relate.
heart.
You want to move their hearts. You want to
Yeah.
move them from their
Yeah.
head
To
to
their
their
heart.
heart
Yes.
because your heart is your first mind.
Mhm.
You
Mhm.
know?
Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
so that's where I come in to help them. It's okay. You share what you feel comfortable with, but if you're relatable,
Mm. Mhm.
people
Yeah.
like you.
Yeah. Yeah.
And a lot of times people will lend to you because they love your
Story. Yeah.
story.
Yes,
They
yes,
love your
yes. That's why I
story.
wanted to ask the question, because I kind of figured it was something like that.
Yes.
My mom was a great storyteller. She was a great storyteller, and she would just captivate you with her stories, right?
Yes.
And I share her stories almost every day in some way or form, right? So that's the first thing that came when you said story. I helped them write their story. I'm like, I wonder if it's a compelling story, right? A story that's
Yes.
going to touch people's heart. Because
Yes.
here are people lending you money. People don't, people at least on that other side don't know you. Your family know you, but the other ones don't. So you got to
Right.
convince them
They
to
want to
give
know,
you.
who are you and
Yeah.
why should I
Wow.
lend you
Yes.
$25?
Right. 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 Yeah.
And
Yeah.
when you really it's the authenticity,
Mhm.
the
Mhm.
humanity
Yeah. Yeah.
is the key.
Yeah.
Not perfection,
Mhm.
you
Mhm. Or
know,
that you have the best
or you
product in the
have the
world.
best it's not that. It is your heart, your humanity, and your intention to
Mhm.
help
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
your business to help either create jobs or provide something
Mm.
meaningful
To the
to
community.
the community.
Yeah. Yeah. I love that. I love the whole concept of it. I never heard of it. I never, would have thought that people can lend money in that way. Let's talk about the benefits too of
Yes.
getting, because when I was looking it up, I had to look it up because I never heard it, and usually I don't look things up to people that I'm going to interview, but it was so different. And I was like, let me see what this Kiva stuff is. Right. And so, there's also no interest. Tell us a little bit about that, because I think that's a really important part for people that are looking for loans for businesses.
Absolutely. It costs you nothing
Nothing.
to
Yeah.
borrow. No fees, no interest.
Your help.
Listen, and that is where accessibility comes
Mm-hmm.
in.
Mm-hmm.
Mayor Evans always talks about giving
Yeah.
access
Yeah.
to people.
Yeah.
And this is one of those things. You don't have to worry about a fee. You don't have to worry about interest.
Yeah.
All you have to concern yourself with
Is
is
paying back.
paying it back monthly.
Mm-hmm.
Pay your
Mm-hmm.
loan back monthly. Communicating if you can't pay it back 1 month, or communicating if you are paying a portion of it. Because again, life happens.
Yeah.
Life happens. And so they always have access to me. They
Cool.
can always email me. I am
Mm-hmm.
a real person who sits right across from them, just
Mhm.
like you and I are sitting
Mhm.
across from each other. And the one thing that I take so much pride for being an employee of the City of Rochester is that we want to make sure that our residents, our citizens, our clients feel safe.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's what we start off with. I invite you to feel safe
Mhm.
when we have this conversation, knowing that I can't talk about your income or your particulars with anyone, not even my colleagues.
Mhm.
And there is no judgment here.
Mhm. Mhm.
We're
Yeah.
here to help you,
Yeah.
not to judge you. And
Mhm.
here is what one of the things I always tell our clients. And I usually wear Converse sneakers because I love Converses. And I say, my Converses are on the concrete with you.
Mm.
I am
Mm.
building my
Yeah.
credit too. We are not on a mountain looking down
Right. Right.
on you. I
Mhm.
am looking face to face with you
Mhm.
because we all have life experiences.
Yeah. Yeah.
All of us do.
Yeah.
We're in this together. I'm
Yeah.
in the role.
Mhm.
We are human
Yeah.
beings
Yeah. Yeah.
and we deserve to prosper.
Yeah. And it could be anything, right? That it could be weather, right? The weather may not have copper,
Yes.
depending on what you're doing. Like it could
Yes.
be so many different things that can get in the way
The
of your
pandemic.
yeah, the pandemic. Oh my God, that was
The
there.
pandemic.
Although some really rose during the
Some
pandemic,
did.
others, did
Yes.
not. So
Yes.
yeah, yeah. So
Yes.
it could be anything. So if a person wants to apply, let's say a
Yes.
person has an idea for a business, and it could be just about anything, right? Any kind of business.
Whatever business that they deem fit. Now,
Mm.
here are the requirements. You have to have an article organization, a DBA, an
Right.
LLC, or
Mm-hmm.
an article.
Mm-hmm.
You have to have a business bank account.
Okay.
Okay, that is
Mm-hmm.
very
Yeah, because you
important.
got to keep that money
You
separate.
have to keep that money separate.
Yeah.
You have to provide an image of you doing what it is that you love.
Oh, okay.
So there goes the storytelling.
Storytelling.
People
So put a
first
face to the
put a face
story.
to it. So the
Yeah.
first thing people are going to see is your photo. What are you doing?
Mm-hmm.
And that's going to cause them to keep scrolling, to read about you, and then to lend to you. So now I also want to make it clear that this is for every stage of business. It could be for startup. It could be from second stage. It could be for expansion.
Yeah, I was going to
It could be for gap funding. Maybe you did go to a traditional bank and get a loan, but you just need an extra $10,000 or $15,000 to close the gap for what it is that you need.
Right.
That's where we come in, And so any stage of business can do this. And we are very intentional about lending and making impact for people who can't traditionally who can't go to a traditional lending source,
Right,
because of their credit scores.
which I imagine, unfortunately, it's a lot of Black and brown people.
We get to say it. They look like me. They look like you. I always say they are me.
And they are me.
And they are you. And they're us.
Yeah.
We are the people. Oh my goodness, I get a little emotional, but I am the people that I serve on behalf of the great city of Rochester under the leadership of Mayor Malik D. Evans. I am them. And what I'm so grateful for Mayor Evans for is that he saw and really identified my lived experience of being an entrepreneur for 3 decades. And so there was a time when I had to choose between, am I going to pay my rent at home or am I going to pay my salon rent, right? When I was in the beauty industry. And guess what I chose? I chose my salon, and I ended up sleeping in my office in my business for 3 months.
Wow.
And no one knew.
Wow.
I was homeless.
Wow.
Okay. And I shared that to say, when you have the lived experience, yes, I have the degree that qualifies me to be in the role. But when we have a shared lived experience, the people we serve want to be able to relate to us.
Yeah.
And I share that often to make sure that our clients
Wow.
feel
Yeah.
safe.
Yeah.
I am not ashamed of that.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Yeah. So they have to have a bank account, a business account. You know, they obviously the photo and the story that you're going to help them develop, the support of their friends and family,
Yes.
which I absolutely love that part. Um, and then they wait to see.
Yes, they wait to see what happens. And while
Mhm.
they're waiting,
Mhm.
they are visiting our financial empowerment center or at least have the appointment.
Mhm.
They may be getting some business coaching from
Yeah.
me. Or they will also be referred. We have lots of partners. Again, Mayor
Mhm.
Evans is
Yeah.
big on partnership. He always says it's not
Mhm.
I, it's we,
Right.
right?
Right. Right.
And so even Ibero,
Mhm.
I'll
Mhm. Yeah.
refer a client to our Ibero or to RITQ
Mhm.
or to the Rock Women's Urban League
Yeah.
Center to get that business
Yeah.
acumen based on what they need.
Right. Right.
Right.
Right.
And
Right.
so
Right.
I know, if I have a Spanish speaking client, I know immediately I'm
Mhm.
going to send them to Ibero
Right.
to get it what it is
Right.
that they
Right.
need.
Right.
Yes. And so yeah, we work
Yeah. So
together.
while they're waiting, you're still engaging them in
Yes.
some way or form
Yes.
throughout the whole
Yes.
process.
Because we want to set them up
Mhm.
for prosperity. So
Yeah.
whatever else they need,
Mhm.
maybe they need some acumen. Maybe they need
Mhm.
some coaching. Maybe
Yeah.
they need to understand how to market their
Mhm.
business. They
Right.
understand how to brand their business.
Right.
Maybe I can help them go through their social media and say, okay, you're a business
Mhm.
person. Here is how you
Mhm.
get to tell that story
Right.
through
Right.
social media.
Right.
So we are with you every step of the
Mhm.
way. This isn't transactional.
Right.
This
Right.
is
Right.
building
Right. Right.
relationships.
Is there a list of businesses in Rochester that have used this loan system?
Absolutely.
Because I'm really big about supporting my own. Like, if there's anything that opens up, even if I just go once, right? Because maybe
Yes.
something's not okay. This is okay, but it's not something that I want to do all the time or whatever. Mostly restaurants, right? Like I try to go to all the restaurants. I try to support them all, and we've had quite a few
Yes.
that have, in the last couple of years, and now with the International Plaza, we have some new
Yes.
ones in there. And so I try to support them. But is there a list? Like people can say, you know what, I want to go and support these
Yes.
people.
And I am creating that
Okay,
as we
good, good.
speak. And I will
Yeah.
be sure to send it to
Yes.
all of our partners,
Yes.
as well as sending our brand new 2026
Mm.
Kiva Rock application
Oh, cool,
guide
cool.
is now being created in
Hmm.
Spanish as
Okay,
well.
good,
So you
good.
have some goodies
Yeah,
coming your
yeah,
way.
yeah. That would be awesome.
Yes.
And do we feature them in any way? Like, do we feature them? I don't know, in some of the city magazines or something like that that people can know about these businesses.
Absolutely. So if you go on our website,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
cityofrochester.gov/MBD,
Okay.
and you click on Kiva, you will see that the City of Rochester has highlighted some Kiva
Okay.
borrowers
Cool.
also.
Cool.
And in our Kiva Rock book, we highlighted a Kiva borrower as well.
Mm-hmm.
And so coming down the pipeline, we're going to be doing a lot more of that to
Yeah.
help amplify those businesses.
Yeah. How much can people borrow? Is there a
And
limit? Is there
yes.
a minimum and a maximum?
Yes. So they can borrow from $1,000 to $15,000.
Okay.
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 $15,000 is the maximum. Now, here is another wonderful caveat. After they repay their loan, if they borrow $10,000 or more, they can automatically and pay it off.
Mm-hmm.
They will automatically qualify to borrow $25,000.
Oh, okay.
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 If they
So you're a
borrow
good customer. We'll
if you're
take you
we'll
again. We can
take you again.
increase your
Let's
credit
do
here.
it. Let's help you expand. Now, if they borrow anywhere from $1,000 to $9,000,
Mm-hmm.
you can automatically borrow double
Oh, wow.
of what you. So if you borrow $5,000 the first time you paid it back, you
can
get to borrow $10,000.
Yeah.
Right?
Gotcha.
If you borrow $1,000, you can borrow $2,000,
Mm-hmm.
and it goes
Yeah.
on and on.
How's the payments? Like, are the payments reasonable? Because
So
sometimes you borrow stuff and then the payment, like a car.
yes,
Oh my gosh,
and
$400 payment for a car is ridiculous. But what's the
and
payment looks like?
that is the beauty in it. We're not trying to hurt you. We're trying to help you.
Mm-hmm.
So if someone borrows say $15,000, their payment will be around $400 a month. So that's not bad for a $15,000 loan.
Right, and it's for your business,
And
not your car.
And it's for your and it's for your business.
Right.
And so also though, I want to also make it clear that I would say 90% of people do qualify for a loan. Now, they may not qualify for the amount that they ask, right? But they'll probably
qualify for something.
It's highly likely that they will qualify for something. Now, there are some who don't qualify, but we find a way to say yes. Okay? We are never, with the City of Rochester and our Kiva program, we're never going to say you didn't qualify and throw you away. That's not what we do.
Why wouldn't people qualify?
If they don't have, if the business is so new and isn't profitable yet, and they don't have another source of income to supplement. Right? So say someone isn't working right now and is just starting a business, but the business isn't bringing in any revenue. We want to set you up to succeed. So what we'll say, let's forego Kiva for now. Let's set up some time so that you can get coaching and you can get the resources so that you can grow your business. And then we'll come back for Kiva when you're in a position to be able to repay it.
Right.
Because we don't want to set you up.
Because you want the payment to come from the business, not from your personal account.
Yes. Right? Wouldn't that be wild?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes. So,
Cool. Yeah. How long do people have to pay back?
So it depends on what they borrow. It could be 2 years, 3 years, or 4 years. 36 months, 12 months, 24 months. Yes.
And can they, if they're doing well, can they double up that payment and pay faster?
Well,
or do they want them to kind of stay in a
rhythm? You got it.
Yeah.
So it's just like when you build credit, your creditors don't want you to just pay it all off. They want the payments. And that's how we want it at Kiva. We want the payments because then if you pay it off, then we won't know what you're capable of. Right?
Yeah.
Just go on. Even if you have the money, just keep it in your PayPal and it'll automatically come out monthly.
Gotcha.
And that builds your business credit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Which is something that I learned not so long ago. That if you pay, if you have a credit card and you borrow something, you pay it, that to keep it steady, because that's what they look for. Not so long ago, I got a letter about my car loan and they were like, and I didn't even know who this company was, but they were like, we're willing to trade your car and give you another car, newer car, blah, 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 because you pay on time. I was like, okay.
You pay on time. That's the thing. You
pay on time. I thought that was interesting.
Yeah, and that matters with Kiva, just paying on time and consistency.
Yeah.
And that helps build your business.
Yeah. So, so again, I just truly want to understand the way this works. Like, okay, they lend you this money, you pay it back. And with that same money, they can lend it to somebody else and they pay it back. So the money is always there, right? The money is always there because your people are paying it back. And so they have the opportunity to lend to another person and so on and so forth.
Well, let me share. I'm a storyteller too. So let me share a story.
I love it.
And so the City of Rochester, we won a $8,000 grant and then another $1,000 grant for Kiva. And so what we were able to do is we lend every Kiva borrower $75. Everyone. $75. And I try to be the first to lend. City of Rochester, we are lending our clients $75. And so when they pay it back, we get it back and we lend another and another
never
and another.
Ending.
It is a never ending. And that's when you're a part of the Kiva family. And even personally, I've lended personally to some campaigns,
Yeah.
and I don't want the $25 back.
Yeah.
I want to lend it to another
Yeah.
business
Yeah.
because that
Yeah.
feels
Yeah.
good.
Yeah. Of
Let it keep
course.
revolving.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If people wanted to donate, like if and can anybody donate to Kiva to help somebody or
To lend, yes,
yeah,
anybody can
okay,
lend to Kiva. Yep,
yeah,
we want to make sure we emphasize lend,
yeah,
lend,
yeah, right,
lend.
because you're not
Yep,
giving it away, you're lending it
right.
and they're paying you
Yes,
back, and then it
and
could go to the next person.
yes, and they
Yeah.
could go to kiva.org to
Okay.
do that, and that's the
Okay.
big Kiva. They can go if you want to be a lender, go to kiva.org,
Mm-hmm.
and
Cool.
but lend
Yeah, yeah,
to
yeah.
people in the
To
city of
yeah,
Rochester.
yeah. And I think for those folks that like to give money, like that's
Yes,
very, that's a really cool way to do it, right?
yes.
And I'm just thinking about my mom because my mom was a person I didn't realize how much my mom donated to people, and when I inherited her house and when I started getting her mail, I asked my brother, what is this? Like, all these. And he was like, yeah, mom would send $10 here, $15 there, $25, to the veterans, to the children, dimes,
Yes.
all these different places. I'm like, and I was like, but she was on a fixed income. And he's like, I know, but she loved doing that. She would give, sometimes it's just $5. She would just send
Yes.
$5 to the
Yes. veterans,
the wounded veterans or the, March of Dimes or whatever. She
Wow.
had like 10 places that she would send her little $5 to.
Wow.
And so I've kind of picked some of those up, that the ones that she did the most, but it's interesting, right? Because people are oftentimes willing to give, and I think this is such a great cause, and the way that it works, right? That you're constantly giving, you're lending, and they're giving it back, and you're lending, and you're giving. I think that's really, really cool.
It's really, really great. And
Yeah.
I have to continue to shout out Mayor Evans for, this is a part of our budget.
Yeah.
We pay, we
Yeah.
invest
Mm-hmm.
in Kiva US to be able to have
Yeah.
a Kiva hub in
Yeah.
Rochester for our residents,
Yeah.
and that is really, really huge. Oh,
I love your storytelling because you had me intrigued this whole time.
oh, thank you so much. So, Kiva is celebrating a 10-year anniversary in
Cool.
July.
Nice.
And if you remember a few years back, we celebrated 1 million and we celebrated it at
I don't know. I have no idea. I have no idea.
Clinton Avenue.
Really?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yes,
Was it
yes.
at the
The
plaza?
International Plaza.
Yeah, you know what? It's so funny because I saw a picture and I was like, that looks like the plaza.
Yes.
They had a big old check.
Yes.
Oh, okay. Now I remember. Yes.
That was, at the plaza.
Yes. Awesome.
We celebrated our millionth. $1 million facilitated. That's what we
Wow.
celebrated it at the International Plaza. And so in July, we'll be celebrating our 10-year anniversary. But as of right now, to date, we have facilitated $1.5 million
Wow.
to entrepreneurs.
That is really cool.
Yes.
Yeah, I saw the picture and I'm like, that looks like the International
Yes.
Because I know that place like by heart, right? So I know every corner of it. I was like, that looks like the internet. That is really, really cool. That's really cool. That's really, really cool. To think that you've been able to help so many people with that money, right? That it's unbelievable. I want to take a few minutes just to translate. I want to do a little summary in Spanish because I think that it's really important for our Spanish speakers to understand what we're talking about. So, estoy aquí con una de las empleadas de la Ciudad de Rochester. Ella es la persona que ayuda a personas que quieren hacer un negocio y que no tienen, ¿verdad?, el dinero para hacerlo. Y aunque tengan un crédito que no sea con una alta puntuación, ellos pueden ayudar a esas personas a tener dinero para sus negocios. Y puede ser un negocio que va a empezar, o puede ser un negocio que ya ha empezado, o puede ser un negocio que ustedes quieren expandir. De la manera en que esto funciona, ellos tienen una compañía que se llama Kiva, es una compañía nacional, y ellos tienen, ¿verdad?, la persona aquí en Rochester que ayuda a las personas a conectarse con esa asociación nacional. Y lo bueno de este negocio es que usted puede coger dinero prestado, y cuando usted lo paga para atrás, entonces ellos pueden volver a darle ese mismo dinero a otra persona. Algo nacional, muchas personas donan dinero para esto, y no es una donación, es un préstamo. Esas personas pueden dar $25, y con cada $25 que ellos recaudan, ellos entonces pueden darle préstamos a las personas que quieren sus negocios. Además de eso, ellos también ayudan con el marqueo, ellos ayudan, ¿verdad?, con todo lo que tenga que ver con el negocio. Parte de la aplicación para poder aplicar y ser elegible es que usted tiene que tener sus seguidores en Facebook, ¿verdad? En Facebook, o a través de los canales de social media. Si usted demuestra, ¿verdad?, que tiene muchos seguidores, que las personas, o sea, que ellos lo que están buscando es su carácter en la comunidad. Si usted es una persona que la comunidad los respeta, los admira, los siguen, que dicen cosas buenas de usted, eso es parte de la aplicación que usted tiene que llenar. También tiene que tener, obviamente, una cuenta bancaria específicamente para su negocio, porque ellos no quieren que mezcle lo que va a hacer con su negocio y lo que hace en su vida personal. Ella le ayuda con la aplicación, ella es la que se comunica con esta compañía de Kiva y le dice, ¿verdad? Esto es una buena persona, esto es una persona que tiene buena relación con las personas en la comunidad, tienen, un negocio que va a ayudar a emplear personas, que va a traer buena atracción a la ciudad. Entonces después le dan el préstamo, y usted puede coger hasta de $1,000 o hasta $15,000. Y después que usted pague ese dinero para atrás, usted tiene la oportunidad de volver a coger un préstamo nuevamente. Para esas personas que quizás están pensando, ¿verdad?, en abrir un negocio, que aún no tienen el dinero que necesitan, esto sería un programa que usted podría conectarse y ver si cualifica, y ver si le pueden dar el préstamo. Parte de la aplicación también es que usted tiene que buscar personas en su familia, amistades, en su comunidad, que también le presten $25. Si usted demuestra eso, pues entonces usted le está demostrando a la compañía donde dan los préstamos que usted es una persona de buen carácter, que las personas, ¿verdad?, le tiene confianza, que saben que usted le va a pagar para atrás. Eso es parte del negocio. Lo que ella estaba diciendo también era que no permitiera, ¿verdad?, que abuelita te dé $100. Ellos están pidiendo que cada persona le dé 25. Si abuelita te quiere dar $100, dile a abuelita que le dé 25 a tu tía, 25 a tu madrina, 25 a tu prima, que todo lo entreguen individualmente porque entre más personas le dan $25, más demuestra su carácter, que las personas confían y todas esas cosas. Sé que el website está en el website de la ciudad, pueden buscar ahí. Y como dije, no solamente le ayudan con el préstamo, pero también le ayudan a crecer su negocio, cómo hacer mercadeo, todas esas cosas que se necesita para un buen negocio. So, I think I tried to summarize all of that. It was a lot, but I tried to summarize it as best as I could. Anything else that you think that people should know before we leave today?
Absolutely. I just want to reiterate that this is one of Mayor Evans's primary initiatives to make sure that we give access to our entrepreneurs in the city of Rochester so that they can grow and prosper. We want to be support. We want to grow our entrepreneurs in our city, in our small businesses.
And you said it's only been around 10 years.
10 years in Rochester.
In Rochester, yes, right. Yes. Which is cool, right, for everyone that's trying now. I remember for the longest, my ex-husband was a jack of all trades. He was a cook, he knew everything about building a house. He knew, a plumber, he was an electrician, he was a mechanic. He knew a lot of different things. And I remember when we were first got married, and because we met in Puerto Rico and moved here, and I was always telling him, Miguel, we should open some kind of business, and I try to convince him, let's open a restaurant. It's like, no, let's buy houses and flip them, like all these different things. And, one of the things he always worried about was, money. How are we going to get money to start? How to, so this is like a perfect, if anybody's having these conversations in your kitchen, let's open a business.
Yes.
Let's do that. I bake. I'm not a professional baker, but I bake enough where people always telling me you should open your own business. I think I'm a little too old right now that's a lot of work, but if I was younger, I would do it. And this would be the perfect opportunity for me to get that money.
It would be the perfect opportunity.
Yeah.
And I also want to say, I invite people, show up to our website, cityofrochester.gov/NBD.
Yeah.
Look on the Boost Your Business section, and you'll be able to fill out our entrepreneurial form so that we can learn more about you.
Yeah.
You'll be able to fill out the application, and we have you covered.
Yeah.
I forgot one last thing. There is opportunities for all of our Spanish-speaking community.
Cool.
When you go on to Kiva US to fill out the application, you can fill it out fully in Spanish.
Cool. Good.
Yes.
That's really important for us. So I appreciate that.
Absolutely.
Para todas esas personas que quieran llenar una aplicación, si van al website de Kiva, ahí todas las aplicaciones son en español. So no hay problema con eso.
Kiva.org.
And you said there's going to be
the guide is being created as we speak.
So hay un guía también que están haciendo ahora en español para esas personas que estén interesadas. It was so nice talking to you. I love this program. Like, I didn't know anything about it. I remember talk about it, but I guess because I'm not into the business, I didn't really pay too much attention. Shame on me, though, because it sounds like a very exciting program and definitely an opportunity for folks that are really, really trying, that really want. And I've seen so many grow in Rochester. Like, I've seen so many new things coming out, which is often awesome. We saw some at the International Plaza, people selling seasonings, which everybody was excited about. I have to go next Sunday and buy some because they're like, oh my God, the seasoning is so good, So things of that nature that people come up with that, that have been successful. And this is definitely one way to help them. So I appreciate you coming and talking to us about it. And I hope you get a lot of calls in the next couple of days.
Me too. It was an honor to be here. I can't believe an hour went by so fast.
Yeah, no, it goes really fast.
We were just...
Well, when we're having fun, right? When we're having fun, time goes really fast. But I like to close the show by asking if there's a phrase or a saying that you grew up with that still resonates with you today. And that really comes from my mom. My mom could give you a whole life lessons in phrases. So do you have one?
I do. And this is from my beloved mother, who passed away in 2023.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah.
She said, Maisha, there is nothing you can't do. And so I am saying to everyone who is listening, there is nothing that you can't do. Yeah.
And Kiva's here to help you.
And Kiva's here to help you.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for being with us today.
Thank you.
Yes, of course. Gracias a todos por acompañarnos en esta mañana. Lo esperamos nuevamente el próximo sábado de 10 a 11 de la mañana en Poder 97.1 FM. La única estación radial latina con dueños y operados por latinos. Por la comunidad, para la comunidad. Esto ha sido su hora informativa, trayendo la información importante que esperamos que los inspire a una mejor calidad de vida. Que pasen una linda semana. Hasta la próxima, mi gente.